think I'm online.
Yay! It looks like it.
Mm-hmm. So, this is what I'm calling the Greenhill Keep. It's actually named after the original Greenhill Keep on this server that I accidentally blew out. It's taking a bit for me to add greenery to this hill. Because of the biome, there will always be some sort of snow element going on. But this is also much bigger and much better and far from being complete compared to what preceded it. Had children complaining that I only dealt in pretty much just one building block, stone.
It was my favorite building block.
So I have expanded to add some more wood. Was including some, had advanced a little bit, adding some wood, but now there's more wood in this build, and then I got the deep slate bricks. So this I had to find villagers elsewhere, and this is how I got the villagers up into the structure. Which is kind of interesting that I did up and over, partly because going up all that height and over, I didn't have to try to figure out how to get them up each. By coming all the way up here, I didn't have to try to figure out how to get the villagers up every little increment. I just brought them all the way up. And then I dropped the elevators down, one of the water elevators, dropped the villagers in the boat down a water elevator, because we'll go ahead and start down here at the bottom. We are at bedrock. All the way at bedrock. And I'm guessing the villagers are being quite loud. Let's adjust our volume here. There we go. That might be a little more reasonable on the volume for the villagers, because we are right below what I'm calling Minerville. I have done a few tunnels out around from it. Oh yes, evidence of the cake war with my daughter. On a whim, I placed a bunch of cakes as I was leveling up some of my farmers. I ended up with a bunch of cakes. And so I went and distributed them around where she was building, and she returned the favor. There used to be far more cakes, and I was slowly finishing off the cakes, and then she went and got 9 more cakes last I knew and spread those around.
'Tis the cake war.
Yes, it is the cake war. Okay, so let's go check out Minerville. Minerville is not an iron farm, so it's no big deal that the golems are spawning wherever. Here I built a marketplace. I know I've seen online some where they'll do a 1 block little space, and it's like super efficient on the marketplace. And they'll use some trick to keep them from breaking with their bed and still able to use their workstation. But I give them their bed right there, because the layout of this here There's a lot of villagers here. This is why it's so noisy. In fact, if we go down, so the area I was down at the bedrock, that is actually just below this floor. So we've got a pretty good size marketplace between this floor, at one point I was looking at doing this marketplace perhaps on the bottom floor, and both of these as living quarters, but I found my villagers they were basically inhabiting the beds up here, and these beds that I had down here were just remaining empty because they weren't properly pathing to them. So I just created this another marketplace, added some deco elements here, so, and then we have up here. Looks like they've been wiping out. Might have to go grab a hoe and plant some seedlings and whatnot here. But there was farms here. There was more farms here. Workstations scattered around. Got a little decorative with their living quarters here. So I tried to make this look like, yes, it's a contained space and stuff, but I did try to make this look a little more like an enclosed village. Okay. I had discovered that I had a problem with villagers wandering, so I put these here. The pressure plates have the advantage; they do hold back the water, and they allow that the gates will close immediately behind me. Notice I have, at the lower levels, I've labeled some of these to bedrock, to the top, and this one should be pretty obvious that it's for right here. Not all the water channels connect here. That's intentional. I do not want the villagers ending up anywhere all over my build, and by controlling these here, it's been pretty effective on, again, they mostly stay up there. They do wander down here on occasion. I've seen a few lose connection to beds down here, hang out, but okay. I have here, I put some signs up here marking some of what their, maybe some key trades or thing I use them for. So like in this case, this is probably a villager I use to get glass. Library. Oh, he's a map maker, one of the cartographers. But yeah, I put glass up there. Books. So I got a bunch of librarians for enchanted books. Then I have some armor smiths, weaponsmiths, and toolsmiths. I really like my stuff. So I can get diamond tools, diamond armor, diamond weapons. I pretty much just what diamonds I find, I pretty much stash at the moment. I'm sure I'll have eventual uses for them, but okay. So I actually have here 4 pairs of these water elevators. And yes, I do have, as I said, iron golems here. Not this is not an iron farm, so this village, they're not going to have another iron golem until one of these dies. This stuff. Okay. So to the top, that's going to eventually be all the way to the top. Right now it doesn't actually go to build limit because I have not taken this water. Or did I take this water elevator all the way up? Maybe I did. Thought it was something, another one I took all the way up. I want to say, I'm not sure off the top of my head. Well, we're going to go up that eventually, but okay. So we have to the lookout. Originally this was going somewhere else, but my plan's been revised. One of the places I hadn't initially had part of my build, but it ended up being cooler than, I thought it was cooler than I had initially thought it was going to be. I decided to make that one of the stops, which has kind of worked out. And the stuff, the iron storage. This ended up being a early in the plan. Early in my planning this, I ended up again. This was probably I had another stop in mind, but I decided I wanted a quick, easy way to get with iron storage. This down here is a preparation for the achievement, because you get a special achievement from dropping all the way from build limit down to bedrock and surviving. So this and a few of my kids have already tested, even before this tower, this was completed. They did a whole long pillar of blocks, jumped off the edge of the pillar of blocks, followed it all the way down here, and got the achievement. So several of them already have that achievement. I do not yet. I'm going to.
What achievement?
Achievement to fall all the way from build limit to bedrock without dying, and that's to the bottom of bedrock, not just to bedrock, but the bottom of bedrock.
That's fine.
So yes. So that is a small channel hidden back on here that I found a nice spot to do that. Okay. I think I want to go back up. So a bunch of these go up to different areas. I'm going to go back up to Minorville, because this, when you get to the next stop going up, so this next stop, to get to it, the other way to get to this would be actually to come down from the storage, where I plan to have storage. So to come down the stairs. But in this case, I'm going out there, coming up here. So this is the top of Minorville. My plan is to do perhaps some gardens up here, and I am bringing these this walkway down here. This walkway, as I first started digging this out up above, I started digging up there, really clearing the area. And so initially I built that walkway, planning ahead that I'd have that walkway suspended, like if you look some of those chain going off the ceilings, trying to make it look like it's anchored to the ceiling. And so I wanted to make the look of a suspended walkway. And so I initially was building it was just right on the deep slate. But then, as you can see, I've been actually digging out underneath it.
Ooh, Dad's
And
doing
now
this
they're.
tour?
Yes, I am doing my tour.
Yay!
And so,
No.
yes, now it's starting to come together.
Yeah, because there's
so
some
the-
model and stuff.
The actual suspended
They connect to each
walkway.
other. It's really funny. But it's
So
really
we have,
convenient.
this will be the next stop.
And, everyone
Let's see. Now
I'm
these
thinking about doing some
coming
Minecraft.
off
I'm
here,
ready
they
to
are. I'm actually planning to build some
Hey Dad, what? Get that done over.
enclosed spaces that remain dark, that monsters would spawn there, channel them down into killing chambers to try to get various drops that way.
The red one works, but it's not.
Plan to build several of them with a good volume, because they can actually compete with everything else. And it looks like I'm in luck that there's actually some slime
If the white one's not working, I would suggest we just
chunks
take it
here.
off
So
Yeah, let's just take it off.
now we found before I realized that my artificial cave hit into this cave, we actually did find it off of the tunnels I was doing from down there near bedrock. And what's interesting here, I'm not going to show it right now, is my son found that waterfall actually leads up into another cave up there. So even a bigger extended cave network.
Is there like friends?
So it's kind of cool there. So that we have that going on here.
I don't care if I have sound or not. It is fun, but
And let's see, what else do we have?
Eating all the cakes.
No, I have not eaten all the cakes. That would be responding to my daughter here, who I'm having the cake war with. I have not retaliated from her last infusion of cakes, but
You mean my last two, right?
are you saying you did another group beyond that 9 I already knew about you added?
Well, remember, I did a 14 in retaliation. You never retaliated to that.
Yeah, because I probably deserved those 14 that you did.
And so then I decided I'm going to do another 9.
Yes.
And then
Okay,
I'm
so
going to fight this.
going up this, up the stairs here, there actually is some water elevator access there, limited water elevator access down at the roof of the. You can drop all the way down, back down to bedrock, and then you have access to all the water elevators there. Or I believe the water elevator that goes all the way up. But I want to here we go where the future storage area. This is a central area. Right now, this is actually serving as an intermediate storage facility. A bunch of these storage boxes will remain
Oh, by
here.
the way, Dad, I stole some dirt. I thought I should let you know.
You stole some dirt.
It's not connecting to this.
You didn't steal my rooted dirt.
I don't really care about that.
I only have 1 block of rooted dirt.
I'm tiring.
Okay.
Connecting to the server.
What's
But this is intermediate. I will later do some item sorters and whatnot, and they'll then have to do various feeds into those. So they will eventually get alternate feed.
Yay.
This is actually a pressure
No.
plate behind here
What? I was doing something.
I'm sorry.
to help. Mostly, it's actually so I don't. If I end up going back there, because back here is where going to be the bunch of item sorters. But this way, like if I wasn't careful, I'd forget to sometimes close that door. So I have a pressure plate.
What am I doing?
So we can see here a big artificial cave that I dug out here. Technically, I am actually going to dig out another layer below here for another floor,
Okay, I
and another whole bunch up out there,
Dad.
so I can have stuff to feed into it. And this is going to be an area between. This can be a big open area, and so eventually that'll be filled with a whole bunch of chests, large chests going around here with item sorters behind it.
Father, can I use your laptop? My computer doesn't want to connect to the server.
Yes, you may use my laptop. It is here. The mouse is in my bag,
Okay.
and I'm guessing you want the power cord.
Probably. I don't like this game. Thank you. I don't know how to play it.
Go ahead
Okay.
and drop out until I'm done with this portion.
I don't
Okay.
know how to play this game.
Okay, so. And it turns out here, as I built this in here, I miscalculated the cave here a little bit by 1 block, 1 or 2
There's
blocks
a lot
on
of
each
things I
side.
can't do in here yet because
So I'm going to actually, because the idea would be I go over here and I would have another channel of black of the deep slate tiles on the other side to indicate that would be where I'd then build the back wall. But yeah, but no, yeah, that's putting this in here revealed I had miscalculated, and I can go back and do that later. But, that is, and I put some workstations here, and over on the other side, and maybe repeat that this time. So
I got it. Oh,
we have the storage. So now I used to have another temporary storage up higher where I initially started this server, but I was running out of space. So as I ran out of space, since I was already knew that I was going to be building, I'd already got into this area. So what I did is I went ahead and was like, I can use this as a intermediate storage until I get the item sorters and everything built out. So I can just go, since I was already planning to put a bunch of large chests here, I was like, if I go ahead and put it in the large chest, I can use them and then later put in the details. Let's see. So from here to there is, I'm filling up with stone, with a bunch of extra chests for more stone.
I know.
There's already a massive amount of materials in this build, and there will be much more. So let's see. That would be our storage area. What's next going up through the build? Oh!
With this,
What is going
More
on?
one of
cake.
us jumps on, and then you go jump
Yeah,
up there.
this is their nether portal stuff.
And I jump right
And okay, I have my
right there.
golden helmet on. Let's just take a quick tour over here.
And then you jump over there.
A lot of
And
this
then
area
there's
is
that
unfinished.
place. You need to
Dad, are you
be
sure
on the
the mouse is
pink.
in here?
What?
Are you sure the mouse is in here?
Wait, do you need to be on the pink to bring
I
this?
can't find the mouse. What is going on with the remote?
Oh, no.
Dad,
wrong.
you're a liar.
I was wrong. It was not in there. My bag.
And then you
Okay.
click on that.
So this little your initial room is kind of my creation, with a piston door on an XOR gate. If we go down here, we can see the redstone workings of it. So, that way, either switch will work for that. My son actually did this over here.
And then to get it across
Oh,
Feel
he's
the
there.
spirit, and I'm sorry, Lynn.
Oh, pick that up. Bring it with us. Oh, we got two things there.
Okay, I got this.
Which I believe is built on a flying machine.
Crap.
Oh, I lost my thing.
Oh, come on. Let's see if I can lose that fellow a little bit. So a bunch of this area is actually courtesy over here in the nether of my son, with this
Well,
little
And
enclosure
grab it.
with its door being my handiwork.
That's it. Send it. Grab the other one. There you go.
Okay, let's go back.
There's the cauldron. I was looking for it. There's the cauldron we were.
So if we're going up from here, now the stairs do go all the way up to the next area. What I am going to go ahead and take
Oh,
the
yeah.
elevator express.
We've got.
Oh, and one of the cakes that I haven't quite finished is on one of the in this spiraling staircase. Now, more evidence of
Oh,
work in
you
progress. I'm actually back here. There is a bunch of hoppers. This hopper chain goes actually doesn't go all the way up to the top. but it does go up to a bunch of farms I have. Spiraling farms up above. So the idea being that items can be fed in and go all the way down, and so I'll eventually connect that down to the item storage. So that we now you might notice that there wasn't much in that bottom hopper, and that's because currently there is some item storage related to the farms up above. It just happens to be that they treat anything that isn't properly sorted by those will then get thrown down in here through the rest of the chain. So things that can't sort, those can't sort, end up in there. This is ground level, where I started off outside. Yeah, I thought I started off out there. And then dropped down to bedrock, yes. Okay. We have our enchanting table, one of the uses I do have for
What am I doing
diamonds.
with
Okay.
it?
And then we have a room to just, granted this is the back end of the enchanting space, but we can just
I
a
drank
bunch of
the
bookshelves
Good.
and throw books.
Oh, wait a minute.
And another
Need
cake.
What is this supposed to do?
Right there.
This
I
is
just
where I
opened it.
initially had some of my early farms, was here.
You may have to re-drink the potion.
When I first
Yeah.
basically dug a cave into the
Yeah,
hillside
You have to pull that.
for protection. That was where then I had my
Right there,
initial fields right down here for growing some stuff.
Oh.
Our chickens. I knew about this cake being added. There was cakes in here earlier, and yeah. That's how these chickens got here, is I threw a bunch of eggs. We have no shortage of eggs. So, this is our chicken farm.
Go over this one more.
Might be nice to eventually do an automated egg thrower, but for now we just do it manual, and if I do an automated, it's going to be somewhere else in the building. This will remain as
That's not
is.
where I wanted that.
Other than cakes will need to be
Wait just a
eaten
minute.
and consumed. This is my workshop stuff. And here's the explored map so far. So we're right here. The first village we found was right around here, I believe. We're right, you can see my crosshair
Now we
and stuff coming
see.
down here. Right here in this bit of snow. So, and my daughter has set up to do a massive underground village there. So she's going to basically expand upon that village there.
Try opening those.
We did have a
The
problem
lighting
with that
on.
village, the population disappearing, so I restocked some villagers at one point from here. Stuff.
Attack that
So,
thing.
and this
the
is
right
so
there.
that's max zoom out on the maps. Here's a little more
What do I
your
do?
basic
Now
standard
just go
map. So here's my place here.
There you go.
Then I want to say
Tackle
that
one.
is.
You've lost it. We have
I
to
probably took
come
that
back.
map.
Tackle the knife
Probably needs to
area.
be, let's get the orientation right. There, that reflects the current.
So we have one
Oh,
more night
she
we
wants
haven't
it.
tackled yet.
She wants me to go to bed.
There we go. Okay.
I can even
Now you
remember
have
why
to
we first
run
started
so
doing
you
this
don't-
go to bed backwards, but it's
Okay.
become the thing.
No sense in me following you exactly. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Jump
Oh
up,
yes.
Jump up.
I'm
Fun. I need little
trying.
closets.
There you go.
There was a cake in there earlier. I finished it off, and now she's put a new cake in there. Okay. So yeah, there's still some storage here, but when that storage was inadequate, I had to put a bunch of storage boxes, put a bunch of large chests over here that was becoming inadequate for all the building materials I needed. So I built, as I said, that area was going to be storage. Those tests are just being repurposed for now. She's lost, and I have no idea where she is.
I have no idea where I am, otherwise I wouldn't be lost. Luckily, I have a compass.
Okay.
I'll find the base.
Okay. So I think the next little part here, I'm probably going to do go wander the hill a bit.
There's a baby zombie! Ah!
Is it alive?
No, wrong baby.
Now, in exploring the map, I found jungle biome.
Oh, sheep.
This is stuff. I found some desert. So there's various things I found and brought back here to grow. Savanna. So and on the server that I accidentally wiped, we refer to the building I had done near spawn as Greenhill Keep. This is not Greenhill, but I decided to keep the name Greenhill Keep, and I am adding greenery.
It's raining!
It's snowing where I am.
Shush. I'm in a different biome.
Oh, there's rain here.
I've been building my house right on the edge of the biome. So one part it rains, the other part it snows.
I don't even remember where I built my base. All I know is that I need to get back.
Can't remember how we're supposed to get through.
It's a white frog.
Oh,
I cannot help my daughter where she's lost, but I do know where she was building her base. Or at least I think I remember where it was.
You know where my base is? It's been like months since I've been on.
Well, at least what I think is your base, there's like a build in the middle of ice that's
Yes,
incomplete.
that is mine.
Yes. So yeah, I've been transplanting a
How do
bunch of
I get up?
trees. Bone meal, I started to add some flowers over here. Stuff. Let's see. So, as we build the structure here, I actually carved a section out of this hill here because I wanted an area that, yes, I have a pen with some sheep over here.
It's a white frog.
And then I have a pen with some cows, but I really want to have some pasture back here where I will then give them more space, have more, try to have more cows, more sheep.
Okay, now
So
you're going to go down to the...
This cave did not look like this. With the help of my son, we remodeled this cave. This used to be just a very much a stone cave with, and we hadn't added water. We added moss. So we took a moss block and bone mealed it, and then we added some also a bunch of greenery, and then found something to plant on the ceiling. I forget what that's called, but we thought it'd add nicely to our decorated cave. Okay. This is so my water elevator is what I call when I marked as hilltop. That would be here. Stuff. You can see the channel of hoppers going up. I decided I wanted a water feature, so I went ahead and added a water feature. So I have a door there. I have a door down lower. It also gives a nice place to grow some the seaweed, and with bone meal you can also grow those lily pads. Well, not the lily pads, but what are they? The droop leaf plant. So These up here, these are the next gardens. When I expanded beyond the small gardens I initially had in the cave. So this is my next level gardens. So I could really start to begin to trade with the farmers in the village down at Minorville and get some trade and stuff.
I did so much, Mom.
And in addition to these gardens here, I also did some gardens in the front. On the, so if we go down here a little bit.
It tells me.
My friends, the
Maybe I'll like them better if I start from the beginning.
so we can see here some gardens on the front of the build.
It's very confusing for me.
I forgot about that cake. Partially eaten, so I must have found it earlier and
This is like
eaten
one
a
of the
little
few
bit.
games that I see you playing on.
My daughter says that this just doesn't look right. That that water elevator went up and it got the villagers in there that I just kept and plan to keep. She said it doesn't look right. It needs to look like it needs to have some arches to like it look like it has a real support.
You've been playing it often,
So
and I have never.
I haven't done it yet, but that would probably be one of our long-term plans
See,
is
that's
to
what I was
actually
trying
add some
to
support
do.
or the appearance of support. Okay. Let's go back up. With the
When Mom's gone, I'm just gonna play
okay.
the Lego Harry Potter
Next
thing and
stage
see
up,
if I can
you know, I have here
figure
to
it
Iron
out.
Town. That would be the next village up. That's the actual iron
I
farm.
was somewhat
But
figuring it
below
out,
the
but it
iron
hurts
farm
my
is
brain.
actually
And I have
where the iron golems
lost
die
so much brain power.
and
I
where the iron
lost so much
storage is. So
brain
we'll
power
go
trying to
we'll
figure
check out
out
iron
like
storage.
that one is absolutely so confusing.
We do have
Because
item
now you're
sorters
gonna
here.
be able to build, like, in all
So notice it says
Lego
iron
games, it's,
blocks
like, generally the same.
and over here iron ingots.
Not for Lego movie
Then
games.
we do
No, you're
have
not
over
allowed.
here for puppies and unsorted items. Now this, the iron farm currently does not connect to that big
It's a temple.
column of, oh, I should have shown you that on the,
Cactuses have flowers now? Yep.
okay, let's see if I can peek my head out here. Yeah, that going down there. Behind those trap doors is hoppers. A nice long line of hoppers. And currently the iron storage does not connect to that anyway, so this is actually a separate storage system. Oh. I built here a nice safety elevator, I mean not elevator, safety ladder. So I can come over here. The idea over here is if I needed to do some repairs for some reason, I could. But the real trick here is that if you end up in the water trap for the iron golems, the iron golem drops right about there, and equivalently right about here. Iron golem does not resist the water flow and will just go right down into the center kill chamber. But you can swim across against the flow and walk right out. With a nice little ladder to get this, get yourself safely out of the system. Now, if for some reason you did end up in there and did
How
end
did
up
I
dying,
get this far?
we do have for the unsorted items here. So your items that drop when you die would end up here.
Dad, I can't open the Minecraft launcher.
Maybe it needs a new update. There's
It's saying it can't download the launcher update.
yes, probably because it needs my admin permissions.
Ah!
I think that's what I
Bear
ended
with
up
me.
getting into.
I need
No, that was not what I was getting into. I launched the thing. I just couldn't connect to the server.
Do some IT technical support. Come on.
IT guy!
I mean, that is what Dad's job is.
Dad cannot go to sleep, so I row in the middle of the night. I got this.
It's very dangerous. Your uncle will make him go to
This
sleep.
way.
Oh, okay. You'll make me go to sleep.
Rude. Take Dad to a bed.
He has a bed on him. See, he just go like this.
My daughter's playing my character at the moment while I'm over here because they want me to go to bed.
Yeah. Okay, there's
I
no
don't
more
want
iron
creepers spawning over
in there. Okay. Ooh, we're at 31.
I can deal with zombies and skeletons, but creepers? No, I don't want to deal with them. I can, but I don't want to.
I think it's telling me where you guys are. It is. Is that a new update? Yeah, it's part of a newer.
One of the three.
I got so confused because I'm like, what are these purple dots?
Me and Dad figured it out when we were playing.
And then when Lynn joined, I'm like, it only
I'm
occurred
sorry,
to me.
but to get the Minecraft launcher updated,
You need to switch onto your account.
I
How
got
far did I go?
You're not allowed to buy it.
What is not allowed?
No.
Oh, me.
I don't know. We have this one though.
I'm not taking that one. I don't want any of those.
But they're delicious.
To you? They are. Not to me. Don't hit me. Stop hitting me. Oh, look at the guardians. Continue going.
You wish you could fly.
No, I'm just rowing. Rowing into the infinite abyss because I have no idea where I'm going.
This is very precarious tree cutting. I don't like this. It's right on a cliff.
Oh, you're the one from the.
Okay.
He's using a pumpkin on his head to fly.
At one point I had a really close call though where I almost fell off the edge.
hopefully it's updated the launcher. Over here it's complaining, probably because I'm logged in over there. But
I wonder why it would complain about that. Hold on my screen.
okay, try again. See if it'll launch Minecraft for you.
Okay.
What to find first? Minecraft next.
Oh, you have to have your music first, huh?
Hold
Yes.
on.
Spotify says it's not responding, but it clearly is.
And it looks like Minecraft launcher is launched.
Yay!
Okay.
I got to the ice. I'm so close.
I don't know how close you are if you found your way to the ice. There's a lot of ice.
No, I recognize this ice.
Okay.
I recognize
Well,
drown.
Now,
What wolf drown?
The item sorters are for this are actually up here. I haven't built a shed to cover them yet or anything like this. These are the item sorters. Iron, poppies, and what was?
I think I'm not
Should
allowed
be able to look
to
up here. There's iron, poppy,
How are my dogs here?
and poppy
Okay,
again.
I definitely lost one of my dogs. Oh well. My goal is
Not
I
sure
was
why I
growing
have poppy
forever. There's
twice.
nothing I could have done.
I'm probably feeding
Henry,
one.
look. There's no giant hole.
Probably feeding one right into
Is
the
that where I saw
crafter.
the
Probably was.
No.
That'd be my guess.
Now I gotta fill up this area. I need to steal more dirt. Come on, my puppies.
Or oh no, it's one to fill up the poppies, and when it fills up, it will no longer be able to sort them, and it'll feed down into the bone meal. So that'll make bone meal, which will then feed that. The bone meal will feed into the item crafter, the automated crafter, and then this is set up here based on signal strength. Then it'll then trigger when this completely fills up to then make a bone meal block. The bone meal blocks here are just tests. It hasn't actually, the poppies haven't filled this thing all the way up yet. So it's got a bit more to go, and then it will flow to the second sorter once it's completely full. The iron blocks over here, these are that the iron has actually filled these completely. And in this case, I don't need two sorters here because I'm not, I'm not feeding them into a composter because that doesn't work with iron. But basically these ones here with these chests, they're just capturing the flow of iron through these hoppers. So they capture the flow, this stuff. And once this is completely full, which it is, then the iron is then free to complete its journey, where it will fill up this crafter. And once it's, once the signal strength is strong enough off the crafter, it'll trigger the system, which will pop it off and craft another iron block.
I found Greenhill Keep. I need to use the bathroom. I'm not lost anymore.
Now, this, since villagers can climb ladders, this particular shaft, so where I was using stairs below to cover some of the in-between levels, this is how I cover some of the in-between levels here.
To the lookout.
And so, in this case, for a moment here, I'm actually going to skip past the iron farm, the village, because I can get to it from an area above. This is one of the areas that, yes, I might have access to that shaft, but trying to intentionally end up here. So this to prevent iron golems from spawning here, I just made ponds. This is actually a modified version of the iron farm, so kind of a modified, improved version of the iron farm I built for a friend that's a coworker. So these small areas there and a matching one over here are at the level of the village. These are essentially all the roof of the. I'm going to have to use that little channel. But for the moment, let's just hang out here for a moment, resisting the water flow stuff. But the one of the problems I had with the village iron farm I built for my friend is that iron golems would try to spawn on top of the village, and I tried to do tricks to prevent the iron golems from spawning there, but I'm not sure how super effective they were.
Cool. Interesting. I'm just gonna
So-
steal stacks of dirt.
I think I'd heard from him that the iron farm stopped working.
Blah, blah, blah.
So,
Ah! Game lag.
but this one I just went ahead, the whole, basically a bunch of the
You good.
top of the village. I just on the roof. I just simply made that, accepted that as iron golem spawning there.
They can't
Built,
go back.
made water channels, and the iron golems get fed off. I enjoy the water features there. I have had. I'll go up here again. Kind of a little nuisance, but let's see. Here we go. Well, I have a feeling with all that I'm on here, I probably need to go to bed. But I've actually had an iron golem spawn in a couple of these spots that so far they just seem to have been a flukes. But because as far as I understand it, iron golems being completely in the water, they don't drown, but they shouldn't spawn there, is my understanding. This one looks like he spawned a little too close to the wall and was starting to suffocate in the wall, but he got free and going off with the water channel. But I had a couple that, so I've had a couple instances where I had to come up here. I broke some glass, I broke some stone bricks, freed the iron golem to go out to the water channels and restore the system. But that, I've only had a couple iron golems that way, based on the number of poppies. Generally speaking, it's performed quite nicely. The fish that are in there, those are actually some of the fishermen villagers. I've done some barrels as job sites, so I have some trades for fish, and some of them give caught in a bucket or something like that. And so I've bought a few of those, leveling up those villagers and stocking my water features. Okay, I'm actually going to go around this because I can drop right down into the iron farm from here.
It took me a hot minute. I don't
Okay,
think I can see my base
so if we drop right down here, here's the iron farm. Oh, come on.
Does anyone know
There we
the
go.
way to my base? Father.
Now the iron farm here.
Hold on, he's giving me one. Yep.
My early iron farms designs and the one I built for my friend, you had just a bunch of beds out in a big communal area. You had a bunch of job sites around, and so I would trade with the villagers in the iron farm. As you can see, I've leveled them up, several of them. So it is possible to trade with these. I do like the ability to trade with them. But I did, when I built the iron farm for my friend, the feedback I got from him, he said his daughter didn't think it looked very good. Yeah, it looked, it didn't look like a proper village. At least my understanding of it. So I tried to make this, yes, we still have groups of beds, but with that unusual shape up above, using the roof for the iron iron golem spawning, using the different shape yes, I have a bunch of workstations along over here. Stuff. I do have a few workstations through here. I threw in some bookshelves. I tried to make it a little more decorative that way, breaking the beds up into basically bedrooms. Really tried to give it a little more. My hope was to make it look a little more like it might be a bit on the cozy side, a little cramped village, but make it feel like they have a little privacy of sorts. They do have something that might feel a little more like a village. Okay, my choices are down to bedrock or to the top. In this case, I'm going to choose to bedrock. The choices to the villages themselves are limited on purpose, so that if a villager does, for some reason, end up out, they're going to end up in areas that I can kind of more control. So, granted, to the top may not make sense, but you actually do get an achievement for trading with a villager at build limit. So that is actually intentional, because eventually I am going to have villagers up there as well. That is my plan. Okay, I came down here, we did the iron farm. What is the next stop after the iron farm going up? Ah, the lookout. One of the areas that I initially didn't have planned, but as I was building it up, I was like, how am I going to handle this area? I ended up deciding to do some really big glass windows. Because when I got up to that area, I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to be able to look out over the landscape. So I created this area, and then I decided, well, this should be one of the stops. A bunch of the snow is left over from when this was being built, and so it was still open before anything was built up above it. And trading with the villagers, initially I started with some sand I had found, corroded glass, but then what I did is trade with the villagers to get all this glass. So up here, we get a good view. We can look down here and see some of the gardens, see some of the trees and stuff. Different view. Can't see it from here because of the limit of the view, but down near the end of that water channel, as I was building out there, if we were looking this way, one of my daughter's builds is in a building into a hillside over there, so I could actually see it, especially at night when it was lit up. So here we can see the path that I started to make that actually leads towards that so I made that path, and that leads not all the way but part of the way to the village that my daughter's taking over, or another one of my daughters. So I'm going to probably have to move that planter because I wanted to make another large spruce there. That one's never... I'm not sure what's interfering with it. I have no idea. But so far, the big spruce that way, that a lot of this wood in the build is spruce. I like it because I can make the big spruce trees that when I chop them up, easily get a stack and a half of wood blocks, the spruce blocks, but then I can start converting into a build. I recently added a few.
Huh?
So then, okay, the next bit here is I'm gonna go up here. So we have the lookout. Now we actually have here some more item storage. This item storage actually does feed into, if we were to look in here, on the back end, is it back into this one? You can see the hoppers going up here. As you can see, I have not covered them here. They go up there, they feed up, and so then this system actually then can feed down to, so excess from this system or unsorted items from this system will then feed down into those hoppers and stuff. So this represents, these are seeds. Granted, a bunch of these things don't necessarily produce seeds. Cocoa beans pretty much is just the cocoa beans. So some of these things, let's see, the wheat, automatically when you harvest that you get the wheat and the seeds. But some of the other things you'd actually have to break them down into the beetroot. I want to say is another one where you get the seeds as you harvest it. So some of those things. Then over here, up above, we have our wheat, potatoes. So the plant. I can't find her base.
That sounds like an issue.
I do plan to make another crafting selection in here. So catching the so back in this corner, take advantage of the bend here and put in another item sorter, feeding into a crafting one of the automated crafters, and then somehow feed it over here back in to get the watermelons. We'll see how well I'm able to make that work. But that would be my hope to make that happen. Okay. Now, that's gunpowder. I have an ambition to collect a lot of gunpowder. This might be a server I play with my children, and I insist that we not go destroy each other's builds and honor and respect the build. But that doesn't mean we don't like playing with gunpowder. And gunpowder can be part of the building process, blasting out artificial caves and stuff. So, we do have, guess it's that time again.
Yeah. Sleep.
Okay.
I'm trying to find my base, and I'm failing.
So, this back here is an item sorter as well, feeding, and then if we're by chance, in this case, if it doesn't sort as gunpowder, it gets fed into this channel. I could probably have saved one blocks by just simply feeding it down in here. The advantage of feeding that away all the way over there. Granted, considering what's going on there, the chances are that it's going to have wheat, potatoes, pumpkins, and that stuff pretty much non-existent. So I probably could have just saved some hoppers and fed it straight down a bit earlier. Okay.
Dad, can you see my build from the lookout?
I don't think it's close enough for me to be able
Darn
to
it.
see it.
Yeah, and I can't see it, even if I go up to the lookout. Oh. I'm struggling.
Okay. So this here is where I kill creepers. This is a creeper farm.
Gunpowder.
Yes. Lots of gunpowder.
I found it!
Okay.
After a million
So
years.
this here, granted there's several layers, and the creeper farm is not built to the full scale I have in mind. However, what we're going to do is we're going to go back down a few levels here. I'm going to show you the spiral farm. Now, if we look here, this spiral farm is actually two, I don't know if you'd call it a double helix or stuff, but there's identical farms on each side of this build. So over here we have our nether wart, and if we go to the other side, there is nether wart going the other way. So technically speaking, we actually start with this small space I didn't really want to waste, so I drop down half a block, use some slabs for the ceiling, slabs for the floor, so I get the 2 block space, but it's basically that's the only full block here, and it's just a half block. So I have some lights in here to give some lighting. Here we can grow cocoa beans, because I harvest some jungle wood. Doesn't actually need to be a tree. As long as it's jungle wood, it's happy. Our nether wart. We have wheat. Remember, these are duplicated. So for this, there is a equal farm on the other side. But we will go spiraling up. So this above me. So this ceiling above me is actually the spiral from the other side as it climbs up over these farms. And as this goes up, it's going to climb up over the other farms. So over these ones. So it creates a nice, good
What about potions of water?
corkscrew type effect between the two. These chests allow, as I'm going through harvesting the various items from these farms, and these put my previous farms down below to shame. They are much expensive. But this here is actually a chest with a hopper on it facing into that channel of hoppers. So that channel of hopper just keeps going up here for the moment through these farms. So I just throw a bunch of stuff in the chest, and then it'll be pulled out of the chest into the system and be sorted in the inventory below. And there's a crafting table that, say I wanted to craft some bread. Granted, I don't have any sorting for bread, but it's kind of things where I can craft bread, maybe have a bunch of the melon slices. I want to make watermelon. This will eventually, I'll put a bed in here. I may put some artwork, whatever I have not stuff. But this little shack, and the other ideas, I'll put shacks on the various levels, the spiral. And this ladder cuts through the spirals, allowing me to go from one to the other, skipping the spirals instead of having to go all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom, to be able to transition from one spiral to the other, since they loop up on top of each other. Just take advantage of that to cut from one spiral to the other. Okay, so we have a potato, we have a sugar cane. Oh, one of my daughters is all about potatoes in Minecraft. So a lot of these things I just do one big section, one corner section. Potatoes, I actually did corner section, big section, corner section. So I got a little, not a whole lot, a little bit more on this. What's fun is because it then changed the pattern here is, we'll see our carrots. Our beets. Our beetroot. Here's the melons. I might have the chest over on this side feeding in, but as you can see, I did not build the shack here. The ladder still cuts through though. We're back. We're repeating now. We're back to wheat. In this case, yes, I did 3 sections, but this time for the potatoes, again, as I said, my daughter loves the potatoes. big section, corner section, big section. Now you may notice this section in the center has actually been red. So I've done the red nether brick, which is part of the reason for growing the nether wart, is to convert to make red nether brick. Those are actually chambers, specially designed chambers for spawning creepers. Let's see. Okay. Come on. Maybe I need to go up with another layer. Okay. And if I'm seeing this right, that layer is not complete. So that actually I can give you a nice good view of how I am controlling that only creepers spawn in this area. Once this is done, I'll keep the ladder through here, but as you notice I sealed it up here. So I sealed the here, but if we look here, the areas, those down there will be water channels filling. Right now, this dirt plug prevents granted there's a roof there, so it's technically the light from the environment is not getting in there anyways, but at least the pollution from these light sources don't get down in there, cutting off spawning. So right now, that area below this plug is plenty dark for creepers to spawn. And what we'll see here is, so these will be the water channels. They will force the creepers into the center, which then will drop them down into the channels down at the bottom, pushing them to the kill zone. So this pattern of pillars, I know some will actually just put like little items down here. Put maybe a fence or something to prevent to make it so that it doesn't qualify. Maybe a slab or whatever, kind of so that it doesn't qualify as a full 2x2 spot where a spider could spawn. So you keep spiders from spawning. In this case, I'm like, since I'm already cutting it off, I just made a nice pillar. It's easy for me to keep track of. Chances are that due to the ceiling, whatever I put there to prevent creepers from spawning may prevent creepers from walking over that spot anyways. Now as here, there's trapdoors all along the ceiling. That's because creepers are a little shorter than a full 2 blocks. And they are short enough to still spawn here, even with the trapdoors there. And I don't end up with skeletons or zombies. And apparently it's time to sleep again. So I am sleeping in the inactive section of the creeper farm because I have not yet finished this. Once I finish it, I will put in the water. I will pull out all the torches. In fact, what I'll do is I will have I will essentially start at one corner furthest. Well, I might actually start where this elevator is. Essentially, I can't guarantee which way I'll go, but I might start at, say, this section over here. I put that block there, this block here, the water channel feeding. In fact, I may have the water channels feeding before I even, but I'll clear off all the torches off that corner. Then I'll go over to that corner, clear all the torches off of that section. Come back to the next section, I'll be finishing up, doing the final touches and pulling all the torches off there. Then I'll come here and I'll pull all the torches off as I retreat to this ladder and seal up put the final seal the final blocks there. And I am planning for at least another level, if not one more beyond that, in the creeper farm. And yeah, so this is the creeper farm, a work in progress, already active. As I said, I plugged the layers below. They're plenty dark. Creepers are spawning. It is active. Now I did not repeat the sugar cane as we go up the spiral. So now you may have noticed that I'm putting these arches over. Now the blocks, I think once the arches over here is probably sufficient. I'm not 100% sure. Blocks are there for good measure. I had a problem since in this biome, it's a frigid biome, water was freezing. Turns out there's two tricks, and they are both in play here. Only technically one or the other is really needed, but both I think create a nice visual effect for my purposes here. One is if you have a light source close enough to the water, it will not freeze, or if you have it covered, it will not freeze. So this has a cover and a light source for all the water. In fact, this here it covers all the water sources, and you'll see a bunch of light sources next to over them as well. Okay. And I decided I'd throw a little more bamboo. Okay. This does not officially have a stop here, so it would be either you'd use the ladder through that column, or walk up the spiral. You could try to cleverly use these up water elevators, but that can take a bit of practice, and there's many stops on the way, so getting the right one may not be as easy. So here we are at the top. Okay. Now some of the little areas down below, I actually had signs. This is a work in progress, the Greenhill Keep. So here I do not have signs, so I'm going to have to go by memory. The next stop, is what I'm calling Skyville. I do not have yet a name for what's going to be at the little village at the top. Let's see. So, if I remember correctly, this is the channel into Skyville. So, again, the one to bedrock and the one to the top, both will be open to Skyville, like the other villages and stuff. But the other ones, especially the ladder, just pass right through. There is no opening to them. I'm not sure why, but Skyville, the iron golems do like to play in that. Now the iron golems are actually trapped in on the levels. They cannot get up and down. So the one can't remember if one just spawned here at one point before, or if or if both of them I know one of them I had spawned on the roof and I pushed it down in here. I might have pushed a second one down here in here just to level out where the iron golems were. Bunch of villagers here, bunch of them jobless because I have not yet. I've marked what I want to make some workstations, but I haven't actually put in the how I'm going to do the deco and the workstations here. That has the advantage that it's easy to tell which ones don't have jobs. As again, as I discovered previously, villagers tend to hang out at the top level of my villages. But they do come down. They just favor up at the top. So I will bring up, expand a marketplace down here. Technically speaking, this is a slightly different layout than the village above. Marcus stalls in the same pattern, but the real difference is this is the water elevator here. The village up above takes from the inner wall of the water elevator and uses those, and there's that inner wall, and makes a nice good square inside the water elevators. Whereas this village, I push to the outer wall of the water elevators and build my square of my village from that. Or in this case, not actually a perfect square, because I take a notch out of the corner to give it a slightly different shape than just a flat out square. So little chops off each of the corners to give it a little more shape. As you can see, this is one of the our fishermen, where I can get a bucket of cod. And these two still have, well, he's got a long ways to level up yet to get his first. So now these weaponsmiths, they're all masters. I have actually a little farmer's market. Couple butchers. I have 5 toolsmiths here. I want to say one of them is actually quite nice. Which one is it? Is it this one? Diamond pickaxe, fortune 1, efficiency 2, for unbreaking 2. So. And one of the things that we made a point, if we were to look at these marketplaces, now you can kind of see it underneath here. There's a hopper, an item hopper underneath the workstation. Now these workstations is not as obvious because it completely covers the hopper, but some of these, what I would do is I can only really have semi-control of the first initial trades, the novice trades, by breaking. So once you get them at some XP, they're locked in to their trades. But if they do not have any NA XP yet, they're not locked in. So that hopper down there is so I could break the workstation. It would be picked up by the hopper, because I'm back here behind the fence. So the workstation's clear over there. I would break the workstation. Then I could pull it out of the hopper, place it down, check their trades, break the workstation again so they'd lose their job, repeat the process until they had a trade I wanted. And this guy is our first guy with mending. On the first, I did that, broke this workstation many times. Of course, ironically, after we struggled so much to have someone with the Book of Mending, after we get him with Book of Mending, and I've mastered, put a bunch of the librarians down below, they're masters. So, I finally get a Book of Mending, and then proceed to level up some of the librarians. and several of them start offering books of mending at the higher, at some of their journeyman levels. And it's like, oh, journeyman and expert. After so much effort, broke his workstation so many times, and then they're just going to freely offer me mending. Okay. So the marketplace here isn't done. Okay. Let's see. My options are down to bedrock or up, and we're going up. Okay. Not all the towers have made it all the way up here. I haven't made a 100% plan of how this. I know I want a village up here, a small village. I definitely want beds and workstations. I can't put them above build limit because that is build limit. So to force them to have trades at build limit, I'm going to essentially have to have it so the beds and the workstations are in different places, so the villagers to travel between the beds and the workstations are going to have to travel over the build limit. And so I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to make that work and how that's going to happen. I just know that is my plan, that the village will be up here at build limit. As you can see, I left myself some openings here. I'm definitely building at least out here underneath. Probably another wherever I'm going to have another station where you can ties into all the channels. I'm not 100% certain. When I get the village up here, I'm probably going to either have this, I'm going to have some way that this, I may have this cut off from the village, like I've cut it off from other villages, to keep the villagers in the village, or if they end up somewhere else in some place that is more controlled. So yeah, now I have a spot there just above the village. So in this case, I went up. I'm going to go down. I had iron golems spawning up here. This is part of the reason I brought these towers, brought the water elevators up, because I was risking iron golems falling into areas I did not want them, potentially breaking my iron farm as they fell away from this village. That they risk they might get attached to the iron farm and count against the iron golem limit for the iron farm. I don't really care if they've got added to the Minerville down near bedrock. It was the iron farm I didn't want them to end up at. So, as I said, I had one I pushed again and got it and ended up on the second floor. I ended up building this access right to the top floor. So, because once I start populating the market down below, that's going to probably, I can't remember the exact count in there, but it may add another 20 villagers or so, which means another 2 iron golems, potentially. So, let's see, so there might end up being another 2 to 3 iron golems here. Once this tower goes all the way to the build limit, that's going to be the drop for the achievement. This is to the iron farm. I mean, not to the iron, well, this is to the iron storage underneath the iron farm. This one's to the lookout. I say this one's into Skyville, right? You know, as I said, the Iron Golem seem to like playing there. Trying to do, I think this is to Hilltop. The one with the stairs, that's to ground level, as in ground where the river is, the water level, and then the one right next to it is to the hilltop. Oh no, the hilltop was over there. Right next to it is to storage. Okay. I think this completes the tour of the work in progress Greenhill Keep, which up here at build limit you cannot see the ground. All you see is the tower and sky. We are up at build limit. Making this, even incomplete, my biggest build yet. Build that you cannot see the bottom because it's, well, covered, and it fades away up into the sky.
Wait. I thought Ruth was the one who died also.
Shut up, shut up. I didn't do anything.
Sure.
Nothing happened.
Someone pulled a Ruth.
No,
And it wasn't Ruth this time.
no.
That's why I said pulled a Ruth, not was Ruth.
Nothing happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, sure.
There.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay.
There.
Did I miss anything? Oh. Said the one spot's my workshop. I didn't point out, since we have mending, currently what we might do, and apparently I'm not the only one, so it's the iron is having trouble building up, even though it built up nicely. It's having trouble building up beyond that. Is because now that we have mending, what we'll do is we'll put the item with mending in our hand, and then we'll trade with the villagers, and since that gives XP as you trade with the villagers, it will repair our item. So this pickaxe probably should have broke several times already, but thanks to mending stuff. The other way to get XP that we have here is my automated furnace. It's a 2 furnaces feeding off. We have here, because I currently have both the switches active. so that they won't pull items through. Because I was leveling up my villagers, and the intention was to not pull items through so that we didn't waste the lava buckets. Because even completely full, a single lava bucket should be able to process all that. So just turning one furnace on should be sufficient. What would you do is you would have the furnace processing stuff, so you get a stack of stuff here that's processing, and it turns out that even though the hopper is pulling the items out and feeding it in to the chest down here, that if you halt the flow so that the completed item, instead of being pulled out, gets stuck here, if you pull that item out, it then will unlock all the XP that's been locked up in the furnace. So all that built up XP will be released, and so that's one of the tricks. That so right now I have the switches basically stopping them period, just to save the lava buckets. But it's really the switches were put on there so we can interrupt the flow. So item ends up here. We can pull the item out manually, and when we pull it out manually, we unlock the XP, and then we can then flip it back and let the item let it flow normally. Oh, someone wants me to go to bed. Okay. Okay. So I technically finished my tour a bit ago. Of course, over time, I hope to do more rooms with deco. Some of the stuff is probably going to initially just be very plain rooms as they get added. But over time, they'll hopefully get to be more deco elements to it. But, yeah. So I have a village down at Bedrock, a village about there, that's the iron farm, and then above this, fading out of sight, yeah, you can kind of see the so it would be just right around the tops of the bamboo. And so you can kind of see some hints of the bamboo, I think, up there. So right up just right outside the render distance here. But it's set on the so just right outside the render distance. There would be a Skyville, with plans for one more at the build limit, so I can get the achievement. Yep. The Greenhill Keep. And spawn, I want to say, is just right over to the side of this. So it's not quite in, it's not perfectly placed to always be active on the server. But there's plenty to do. And certainly while I'm building, it certainly stays fairly active. All the stuff to harvest, all the fields, villagers to trade with. Plan is to eventually have more automated and more other farms, other things to do. And
Stop laughing.
yeah,
That was on purpose.
Okay, sure.
and
Yes, to reset my heart.
Ruth sometimes it does it on purpose,
Okay,
and she also does it on accident. She does it a lot.
Okay,
I've gotten
and
better. So we're saying you still pull the root.
no, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Did not.
Yes, you did.
Even Ruth says you pulled a Ruth.
No, we don't listen to Ruth.
Oh, shush. Yes, we do. On the rare occasion that you did.
No.
So eventually, some of this area back here is going to be cleared out and other things built back here. But yeah. And some things I was doing experiments, and it's been so long I can't even remember what was success and what was failure and what was I'd have to do it all over again. As you can see, I've started some railings on the stairs, but as we would say, those stairs are not roof safe. I had not put railings on the outsides. They are not roof safe. Eventually, I hope they will be roof safe. But there's a lot of work in progress on this build. Let's see if I can remember the key presses to stop the stream.